The other game that I've been playing that I know you guys have both also been playing, of course, is TMNT, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. It was okay.
I played that game.
I played a little bit of it, yeah.
Did you guys finish it?
Are we going to talk about that now?
Let's talk about it. We all played it.
Okay.
I did not finish it. No.
I did finish it.
You got your 1 of 7 endings?
I did.
I'm really curious how the different endings are triggered. Is it just based on the different characters, I'm assuming?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's boy, this is wow, Phil left. The second we started talking about it, Phil left. I fell in love with it from the second it started.
Oh my god, yes.
It's really, really good. It plays like...
It is really good.
I'm really impressed by how, like somebody said, I've seen somebody say this before, and somebody said it again. There
we go.
I think on our our Discord, where it's like, it looks like how I remember the arcade games looking.
Yes,
you know,
I can see that.
You know,
and even how you remember them playing too.
But that's the thing. It plays. I think it plays better.
I think it plays better too.
Yeah. Vastly better.
Yeah, I mean the arcade games, as much as I love them, and I do love those arcade games, they were the hits especially were really mushy. Like it didn't feel like there was actually contact. It just felt like your turtles were doing their animations, and if you know one of the Foot Clan walked into their hit zone, like they just played a hit anime. You know what I mean? Whereas like this game, hits feel like they have impact, which I think is the biggest difference.
Yeah,
between those and the old games.
I feel like you can probably take that mask off. It's kind of messing with your audio here.
I don't care.
But
you purse grab and puke. There we go.
But it is great. In fact, we played a multiplayer match, well, a session with some of our old coworkers.
We did,
like Seabake and
some of our
Ethan
old co-hosts
and co-hosts, right? And Greg Ford,
and
that was a lot of fun. Once we got it working,
yeah. You know what I'm going to say? Yes, it needs to be patched badly.
Well, on Switch, the way that if you're a company and you're using Nintendo's party system or the like game invite system,
yeah,
the way that and the benefit of that, of course, is that you can send an invite and you see it as a system message versus just doing it in the game itself,
right?
And and
we played it on Switch. If anyone's
curious. On Switch, yes,
right.
Even though it did come out on Xbox Game Pass. Somebody doesn't have an Xbox. It's Greg Ford. And so we played it on Switch, which I was already buying it on Switch, so that worked for me. And you have to send an invite through Nintendo's, like through the OS, the Switch OS thing, and you have to accept it there as well before you can go in-game, and then also accept it in there. So you have to accept it twice if you get an invite.
Yes. It's the invite so nice you'll accept it twice.
Yeah. But we also had some weird connection issues where two of the players were not able to play. They were stuck on a waiting for players screen for a while.
Yeah, Ford and I got trapped in that.
And then you ended up hosting the game, Phil, I think.
Yeah. And we got
that worked.
We got maybe like 6 or so levels into it.
Something like that.
People started getting kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it disconnected everybody.
Yeah.
Basically.
But we were able to re-invite everyone.
Yep, and
very quickly
have everyone rejoin. Yeah.
Yeah. So that worked out really well.
That worked out great.
I'm going to say it, as much praise as I heaped on this and will continue to heap on it.
Yeah.
I did not like playing at 6 players. It was too much.
6-player mode.
It ran fine.
It's
too much.
Fine. It was fun in that I just got to press a bunch of buttons and see bright colors and talk to my friends.
Yeah.
But you're not actually playing the game.
No. And that's the thing. It's like, especially because one of the things that I'm really enjoying about this, or I've really enjoyed about this, and you guys mentioned it, because I spent the night before we played, so Friday night, playing through it with Michelangelo. So I had him at level 10. So when we were starting, and you unlock different abilities, which is great. There's a level of continuity there, and there's a reason to go back and play with the other turtles and the other characters, which is fantastic. Yep. And, you know, again, the fact one of the reasons that it plays better than the old arcade games is because you do have a much nicer move set. Like they've sort of taken the move set from like Turtles in Time and expanded on it, and that's great. And boy, when you're in 6-player mode, it's just chaos, and I don't feel like you get to experience or use any of those abilities because you can't see what the hell's going on 90% of the time.
Not at all. Yeah. And 90% is very generous.
Yeah, I mean, by the time, and I mean, I had to log off a little earlier than the rest of you guys, and I'll be honest, like I was getting bored because I was just jamming on the attack button. I couldn't see where I was most of the time. Right. I was just hoping I was hitting something, you know. So
well, I was fine with that because I played as April O'Neil, and I just looked for the yellow on the screen.
Yeah. So I played as Mikey, and I was looking for the yellow as well, but there wasn't much there. So
yeah,
and I was Splinter, so I figured that I would be relatively easy for me to follow, just because I wasn't one of the green ones. But I was still constantly losing my place on the screen.
Yeah.
But
it was a fun Discord call with folks that we hadn't talked with for a little while.
I was enjoying that way more than the game.
That was the best part of it.
That exactly was the fun of that, was just getting to talk to everyone again.
But also the nostalgia trip that is this game. I mean, it really sounds, plays so well.
You know what, though? And again, when we played it, I had only played through maybe the first 2 or 3 stages on my own.
Yeah.
So I think, what did we end up getting up to? Like stage 10 or something?
We didn't play stage 10, I don't think.
Okay. We got to stage 9.
Yeah.
So a good chunk of that game I saw for the first time in 6-player mode, which is a terrible way to see it for the first time. Because you can't see all the animation. You can't see all the little background gags.
Mm-hmm. And there are a lot.
Yeah. You can't see
like
where secrets are, because everyone's just flailing. So little secret hidden items are just getting uncovered just because people are just spamming attacks. So
yeah. That's the other thing too. It's not only just a good Turtles game, which is great. That's all it needed to be, right? If it was only that, it would still be amazing. But it is a love letter to all the Turtles games that came before it. Like, there are so many nods. Everything from like the fact that in story mode, when you finish a level, you're out in an overhead map driving the turtle van around, to like even the name of the second level is Big Apple 3 p.m., which I laughed out loud at that when I heard it the first time, right? And like there's elements of Turtles in Time and Hyperstone Heist in the original game. It's so good. And cartoon, and from the cartoon, tons of references to the cartoons. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know much about them beyond the original cartoon, when it was super popular. I didn't follow otherwise, but a few references to the like live action, the first live action film. Yeah, boy.
References to the second live action film.
What was that? Oh, I mean, there's Taka and Razar's in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So, you get all the characters too, and you get the punk frogs and the and all the great bosses from the previous games.
How far did you get, CJ?
Well, wherever we stopped playing.
Oh, you didn't go back and play anymore?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, okay.
It's only 16 chapters long, so it's not. I mean, I beat it in a night, and that was me, or in 2 nights, and that was me, I think, starting pretty late both nights.
So I don't want to really say anything then, because I don't want to spoil bosses, because there are some really neat nods to some of the older games.
Yeah.
In later stages that I don't want to reveal.
Well, I watched some people streaming it, so I know a little bit of it.
Oh, okay.
Later on, so it's not going to spoil it for me, but maybe you don't want to spoil it for our listeners who are probably still playing this as well.
Wait, people are listening to this?
I know, right? It's hard to believe.
See, I could say we're going to have spoilers, and then they could skip it with our convenient chapter skip chapter stops.
Yeah.
I will say in the single player mode as well, my only complaint is there were, and we touched on this a little bit when we were playing 6-player because we got to one of the bosses. There are a couple bosses in the game that I do not like the way that the patterns that they set up. Because they become annoying.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Leatherhead. Is it Leatherhead? That's his name, right?
Yes.
Leatherhead is the first example of that because
Leatherman.
Leatherman. There you go.
No.
Leatherhead is the first example of that. I guess I am spoiling something a little bit here, so warning if you haven't. I mean, Leatherhead's in the game, but his fight. So the screen has 6 sewer grates, and he'll dive into one and then pop out of one, and like while he's out of them, that is your little window to hit him, but it's
a
not
very small
it's
window,
not very
Right.
big. And then he disappears into it again. So it draws the fight out in this crazy way. And it's not that it's difficult, it's that it's tedious.
Right.
Yeah.
And that happens at least 2 or 3 times for bosses in the game, which I was a little bit disappointed by. Again, it's a tiny complaint because 99% of the game is fantastic, but it's just those little moments are just like, I wish this wasn't a thing. But
Right.
yeah.
And I know a lot of people are complaining about when you go online and you're playing with a bunch of random people.
Mhm.
I guess there's a bad habit of people spamming the taunts,
Right.
which fills up your super meter, and then just spamming the super moves.
Which pauses the game every time it happens
Yeah.
for an instant.
Yeah, and that just wouldn't
you
be
can't
fun.
see anything. No.
Right.
I mean, for as much as you can't see anything anyway, that makes it that
Yeah.
much worse.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's why you play with people you know who aren't
Yeah.
going to do that.
I'd like to try it again with 4 players. I
Yeah.
feel like 4 players would probably be just about perfect.
Would
And there's 4
probably
turtles, so look at that.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. Well, it unfortunately is not crossplay, except for the Xbox and PC versions do have crossplay.
Yeah.
So
Although
that's
I've
a
heard
little
that-
strange where some of the versions do, some don't.
Well, I've heard that even though the Xbox and PC crossplay, you got to kind of finagle it a little bit.
Yeah, because it uses, I think, Epic online accounts.
Oh,
so
okay.
you have to use your Epic account and sign in that way. And it's probably a little bit convoluted.
Right.
But, yeah.
Oh, well,
But it's a great game.
it is.
So good.
It is
And
fantastic.
I heard a lot of people last week saying that, it's going to give Elden Ring a run for its money for Game of the Year. I don't know if I would go that far, but it is a very good game.
It's definitely a contender for my top 5
Yeah,
so far this year.
If you
it's very good.
if you remember back when we did our Games of the Year awards last year, we always do the what's the next game coming up this year that you're most excited for?
Mhm.
Yeah.
This was my most. This was one I said.
Okay.
So,
I find it interesting though. Somebody brought this up, I think, in tweets for us, and
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, you're right. I haven't heard anything about the Cowabunga collection in a while.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you'd feel like they'd want to maybe ride the coattails of this a tiny bit, but haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not close to being ready.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Really excited about that too, though.
Oh yeah.
And even
Yeah.
more now. Like now I'm definitely back in the mood for it. So
Exactly.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, if that's Turtles, then we'll just move right into Phil's What You Been